ballin', boy.
Chill. It's that time. Let's talk about it. Yes. We're here with another episode, Canes Chronicles. Yes. We coming off victory, baby. Over the weekend, Miami had a home game against the Standford Trees. It's like, the Standford Cardinals. It was a game that was a tale of two halves. It was a bunch of positive, a bunch of negative. Where do we start, man? As a fan, I was nervous. I was like, I didn't want to see another night game. The camo uniforms, I think they would have looked better if they had black pants. I think those would have been tough. Or if the instead of being light green, if the jersey was like a black camo, more so black and green camo, I think that would have went harder. But it is what it is. It was good weather, I think, for the first half. Second half, it started raining. But let's get into the good stuff. A few notes from the game. Starting off, question I have is Shannon Dawson being handicapped? The reason I'm asking this is because I've seen on a bunch of other podcasts as well as my own thoughts was, does Shannon Dawson want to run the offense this way? It's literally no way that you keep running up the middle, every other play. It's literally no way you continue to do that. The only way you continue to do that, in my opinion, is if that's what you told you have to do. So you're trying to make that work in what you're trying to do. So I'm starting to think that Mario Cristobal has a heavy influence on the offense. I know he wants to play old school ground and pound football. I know that's his preference, but I actually think he has a large part in saying, we're going to do this. We're not straying away from this. We're sticking to our guns. This is what we're going to do. I truly feel like that's what's going on there. So we're dealing with that right now. Also, you have Carson Beck, the quarterback transfer from University of Georgia. He had a fair game. Nothing to complain about there. He didn't lose us the game. So he went 21 for 28, I believe 189 yards, 1 touchdown to CJ Daniels. So he didn't look bad. He didn't wow you or anything either, which is okay. That's fine. So Carson Beck had a pretty solid day. It was a couple drop passes by his receivers. CJ Daniels dropped one on 4th down in the first half when Miami offense was looking god-awful. We weren't clicking. Nothing was working. I started to hear like the boo birds from the crowd. People were displeased with the offensive performance, which has really struggled since the 4th quarter of the Florida State game. So we struggled through the first half of this game, the entire last game, in the 4th quarter of Florida State game. So we would have struggled in the 3rd quarter. That would have been equivalent of 8 quarters of football, which is essentially 2 straight games of offense struggling. That's not good, especially when they're talking about you have potentially a championship caliber defense, and people believe that this team is capable of winning a championship. That's not good at all. Next thing I want to talk about. So, of course, we continue to run the ball straight up the middle. We did a bunch of, pulls, duo concepts, our traditional, man blocking schemes. But it was one thing that struck me that I saw during the game. And I particularly saw it on a 4th and 1 play where we got stopped. James Brockemeyer, the center, got blown up. He was at least 1.5 yards in the backfield, which was, ultimately the reason that play was stopped. But it was a few times that I saw James Brockemeyer getting worked. And I'm not even talking about sometimes people giving him moves. I mean, just strength. Like, he doesn't have the strength. He was getting blown back 2 or 3 yards. And when I realized that and I saw that, I was like, well, maybe that's the problem with the run game right now. So if we continue to run up the A gap and your center's getting blown back, maybe this wasn't happening as much last year because you had Carpenter, who wasn't, getting pushed back as much. He was pretty solid center for us last year. And the year before, we had Matt Lee, who was very, very elite for us. So maybe now you have a center who isn't as strong and penetration is coming up right off of the right side or left side of the center, which is essentially messing up going into the A gap. Maybe that's why this quote unquote theme of, we're going to wear other teams down, and then by the fourth quarter, we're having our way. Maybe the reason that's not working is because the defensive line is getting penetration early on. So your offensive line isn't even getting to wear down on the opposing team as Mario Cristobal likes to do. So that was one thing I noticed. Another thing I noticed is we were having talks about when fans were talking about should JoJo Trader get some reps, and then the question is, well, who should get taken off the field? Who's playing bad that you want to take them off the field? One person didn't have his best game, and JoJo was out there. He didn't get any touches, but he was out there for a good amount of reps. Was Keelan Marion. He had a few drops. I remember 2 hit him right in his hands, and he dropped a couple passes where that can be, maybe the green light for JoJo Trader to start getting some more great quality reps with like a CJ Daniels and a Malichi. Because my thing is, if JoJo continues to get these reps, by I think in the next 2 or 3 games, JoJo's going to be playing, which is, basically the end of the season, but JoJo's going to be playing significant minutes where he's getting those first player reps. So that's something I noticed, but I was happy to see JoJo out there. Also, something that was very important, and I was so happy to see it. Young guys played a lot of reps. We saw a lot of young guys out there getting reps, which is important to their development, right? So you don't want to be in a place where your young guys aren't getting any reps and then you just have your seniors playing all the snaps, because then you come into the next year and you don't know what you have, or you have unproven young guys, or your guys are just going to go on the transfer portal, right? So we were able to get a lot of reps. I saw Dante Simpson getting there, a defensive tackle. He had a sack, or it was a tackle for loss, maybe a tackle for loss or a sack. But Dante Simpson looked good. Good to get him in there as a freshman. That was a good thing to see. Armando Blunt had a sack, and then he hit that. Armando Blunt, it was good to see him play. He played a bunch of reps, some defensive end, some defensive tackle. They move him across the entire defensive line. So it was good to continue to see him get reps, especially as a sophomore, true sophomore, because as we know, Mesidor and Bain are both gone after this season. So we need Armando to get as many reps as he can. So when next year is his time, he's ready to be, to play even more significant snaps. But he's playing a lot of snaps right now. Marquise Lightfoot also played a lot of snaps. He started for Akeem Mesidor, who was banged up last game against Louisville. And they said he looked like he could go, but he wasn't all the way 100%. So they set him out. So it's good that we can sit someone out and win this way. Somebody as important as Akeem Mesidor. So it's good that we were able to sit him out. And Lightfoot got some time. Lightfoot has played a lot of third downs all season long, but he literally got a lot of time. Him and Armando Blunt, Lightfoot played a lot of snaps. I wouldn't be surprised if PFF comes out and it says Lightfoot played over 40-something snaps, and maybe even Armando Blunt in the 30-40 range. So I wouldn't be surprised about that. That's a lot of good snaps for them. I also saw Booker Pickett get in there. Booker Pickett, who's also like a tweener type of defensive end, like Marquise Lightfoot. He's not as tall. Looks a little bit more solid in his base, but he's kind of a quick guy off the edge. So it was good to see Booker Pickett get some reps in there. Still got to get his strength up a little bit. He was getting stood up a little bit, but you could see the speed and the bend off the edge. So it's good to see Booker Pickett get in there and get some time. We also had the freshman come in and play some defensive back. Jabori Antoine, heard a lot of good things about him in camp. He's recovered. Well, he's fully recovered from an ACL injury he had his last high school season last year, in which the first part of this year in spring, he was doing rehab. So he really wasn't practicing in the spring. He was getting his knee good. But Jabori Antoine has been getting some backup reps. So it was good to see him in there. It was good to see Dylan Day in there, who's essentially our special team ace. And it's good. He's flying around. He made a good break on a 4th down play to break it up. He almost had a chance to get a pick. We saw Russell in there on the defensive line. Good to see that. Good to see Gerard Pringle in there. He got a touchdown. Man, that little man is so quick and fast where it's not even multiple shake moves. He's just like one cut and go. But when he goes, he's quick. It's boom, boom, boom. Like he was moving. So it's good to see that, and it's good to see his ability. I actually want to see him get some more touches in the 4th quarter of some games. I think he can be one that breaks a long touchdown for us once another team gets a little bit tired, because he has that kind of speed. So good to see Pringle in there. Good to see Hellcat get some touches. I think he had about 7 touches. He actually had the most rushing yards for us, or I think it was like maybe the second most, I think, after Mark Fletcher. He had the second most rushing yards, I believe. Hellcat. So it was good to see him getting there. It was good to see Josh Moore getting there and get some touches. I heard after the game, Mario Cristobal say he wants to get Upshaw in there too, which I think Upshaw can play a little bit. So I want to see him get some reps as well. But it's good to see those guys get some reps. JoJo Trader was out there. Good to see him get those reps. So the young guys played a lot of reps. That was a good thing to see. And where do we want to go before I talk about the bad? Matter of fact, let's get right into the bad. What the hell was that in the first half, Miami? That was awful. That first half was atrocious. That first half, ball it up, throw it away. Miami just played bad. They looked very flat. Carson Beck didn't look too sure of himself. It looked like those 4 picks were still in his head. He heard a bunch of the news press. He just didn't look very sure. The offense looked stagnant. It was no life to the offense. We were trying to run the ball up the A gap, and it wasn't working, which you can kind of see the lifelessness of the team, where it looked like the team themselves felt like, this isn't working. This hasn't been working. Why are we still doing this? But luckily the defense, after giving up that first drive, it's 2 weeks in a row where they got us on the first scripted drive, but then after that, we're able to collect ourselves. I want to see if we can stop that, though, that first scripted drive. But the defense stepped up, and the defense did well by us and kept us in the game. And then eventually the offense was able to score, which is good. But the thing about it is the offense, even when we're not scoring, we're moving the ball. So we were outgaining Standford by a lot in the first half. Even that first drive we went down and we kicked the field goal, I think a penalty messed us up, which has been doing that all year. But a penalty messed us up, but we were moving the ball. Unfortunately, in games like this game in Louisville, where we actually lost the Louisville game, and this game was close for the first half, we're moving the ball and we're getting nothing out of it. Whenever these other teams move the ball, when they finally get a drive, they actually get points. So now imagine another team throughout the whole game only has 2 good drives. They get 14 points. Our offense will have 5 good drives and get 10 points. They'll get a field goal out of one. They'll score on another one. They'll go 45 yards and they get penalties and get out of range and kick on about 2 of the drives. And then the last drive, they may miss a field goal or something like that. So offense has to get that tightened up. But I also forgot Tony Johnson played a lot of minutes. He's not a young guy, but Tony Johnson gave us a lot out of the slot. He had the most receiving yards for us. And Tony Johnson, might I say, was hooping. I want to see more of him and Malichi Tony on the field because they're both fast guys. I want to see him and Malichi both on the field. I think that look would throw some teams off. Him and Malichi Tony both on the field together, both slot guys. I think that when we're running that spread, I think that would kill some teams. If you run a 4 receiver set and you give me Malichi Tony, Tony Johnson, CJ Daniels, and maybe Josh Moore or CJ Daniels and JoJo Trader on the outside, I like it a lot. I like that a whole lot. I like that a lot. Tony Johnson was hooping. But the thing that helped this offense get back on track was defense, stardom, and we were able to get a few turnovers there. Wesley Bassett, shout out to Wesley Bassett catching the INT, almost cribbing it, about to take it back to the house. And Xavier Lucas caught an interception on the absolute next possession. But that freshman phenom, Malichi Baby Jesus Tony, 2 punt returns where he almost broke both of them. He took both of them for at least 35 yards. I'm talking about moving and grooving, breaking tackles. Ha 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 ha. Getting to it. Malichi Tony. He's one of them ones. That boy is special. Okay. If he would have played with Cam Ward, Michael Jordan Ward, it would have been crazy. Him, Restrepo was nice in the slot. Don't get it twisted. But the Malichi speed and elusiveness after the catch, you put him on a team with Cameron, Michael Jordan Ward, I'm telling you, it would have been crazy last year. But back to this game, because I can get all over the place, man. But so that was good to see. The defense stepped up. They looked phenomenal. Ruben Bain, he's getting held a lot. Mario Cristobal needs to go to the refs and start to point that out before the game and let them know, or during the game, get on the refs, because unfortunately, during drives in which the other team scores, he got held once or twice on those drives. Sometime on third down when the other team converted. We get those calls, which are the same calls that's plaguing our offense. Our offense that have 3rd and 11 get a first down and had a penalty to get us out, or something like that. So the same way those penalties kill our drives, and maybe we leaving 12 to 14 points on the board, call it the other way too, because that could be stopping another team and getting 7 to 10 points. You know what I mean? So call that the same ways, because these teams are holding Ruben Bain every play because they can't do nothing with him. I'm talking about full Nelson. They got him in a full Nelson, full blown jump. Right? So does that say 56 point? No, 56-yard field goal. All right. Yeah, so Ruben Bain, he's hooping though. He's hooping. I need him to get some sacks. He only got 2 sacks right now, but he got a lot of pressures. It's just the teams are so scared of him. They throwing the ball before he get there. Right? They getting that ball out fast. But Ruben Bain is hooping. Zachariah Poyser gave up a touchdown, but he's still looking good. He's flying around. He's making plays. If people think our secondary is good this year, wait till next year. The reason I say that, Poyser, back. Unless somebody hit the transfer portal, but Dylan Day, back. Fitzgerald, back. Damari Brown, Ethan O'Connor, Lucas, Frederick, back. Jabori Antoine, year better. Secondary is going to be nasty next year. I just need more. I need to see more of these linebackers get some time. And I want to know what they're doing with Cam Bobby Pruitt. I don't know if he moved to safety now. I don't know what's going on, but I haven't seen him. And I want to see if Bobby Washington can play before the year's out so we can see what we're going to do with him. But he got the speed. He looked physical, because that's what we missing sometimes on our defensive speed. But I'm liking what I'm seeing from Popo Aguirre. He's doing his thing. Wesley Bassett. Mohamed Toure didn't play too bad. He still kind of struggles a little bit in space. That's not really his ideal position. So, but all in all, I say some kind of game, because it almost feels like last year when we beat Wake Forest after we lost to Georgia Tech, where the game was just we lost a game we shouldn't have lost. Then we come back and we play Wake Forest, and we struggled at first, and then we finally pulled away late, and the score was bad, but you just didn't feel like you truly dominated the game. And then the next week is, I believe, Syracuse. We lost Syracuse. And this week coming up for us is SMU, who Rhett Lashley can call some plays. So I need Corey Heatherman in his bag. And they need to tell Carson Beck, do not throw the money away. Please don't throw the money away. Do not make it easy on SMU. Give them the business. Please do not make this easy on them. I'm begging you. I'm pleading. All in all, proud of the Canes. 6-1, bowl bound, either way it goes. But we got some more work to do, man. Just keep going, keep winning. And as always, y'all know the vibes. Y'all know what we get into. It is what it is. We balling, boy. And this painting behind me This painting is by Kenneth Picasso. He's out of Chester, PA. It's a Nipsey Hussle painting. Art monster. Check him out. Shit.